Hey, JP. Sorry, I thought I took that off, but I guess I didn't. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm back from the retreat. I'm wearing my Kate Richburg exclusive jacket.
You are. I love that you love
Yes,
it.
I do love it. And as we go into fall, I'm excited to wear this with sweaters and, with my warm shawls. And, I'm
Oh,
just, it's like, it's so one, I love it. I love it.
oh,
And
I'm
it's got this.
so glad
Yes,
that
and
snap.
you're gonna let us know where we can order them, right?
Yes, well, that jacket that Janice is wearing is the jacket that I made with my students in France. Not that particular one, but it was the style, the French chore jacket.
Right.
So I did make some. They've all sold thanks to you wonderful people at the retreat. And then I sold a few to my quilt group ladies. And I have requests for more. So more
Yeah.
coats will be coming. So thank you. I
Good.
just got some beautiful linen in. So
And
my
the
hands.
beauty of it, well, sorry to interrupt, but I'm so
No, no.
excited about them.
Talk to
It's
me. Talk to
one
me.
size fits all.
Yeah.
So whatever size I am, as I go up and down in life, it's gonna fit me.
Yeah,
Um,
it will.
and it's warm,
It
but it's
is.
also cool. It's just I love it. So
Oh, I'm so glad. Well, I've been collecting fabrics, my whole life, really. So some of these have vintage fabrics. That button that is on there is from Grand's button box. So, so it's really fun to put them together. It's just like palleting a necklace. Instead, I'm
yeah,
palleting a shirt. This is the other shirt. I'm wearing a shirt that I've made today, Janice, and you and we had some people ask about more sewing classes. Kate,
yes,
when are you going to teach more online sewing classes?
yes.
And this is one of my favorites. This is a pattern by one of my friends, Sonia, who sells the pattern. So I may use her pattern as the base for our class because it's so fun, easy to make, has an easy raglan sleeve on it. So we'll see, but that's for fall us, but it'll be coming.
So I bet you want to know what I'm doing right now, right?
You are giving yourself a booster seat.
I'm giving Sammy my desk chair, and then I'm going to take another chair because he will whine. You see, you
Janice.
see, he goes
Oh,
into.
there
See,
he
he goes
is.
into my chair. He's got to have
Sammy.
my jacket on it. And then I am going to use like the really uh, just
The hard, sad chair, Janice.
really expensive chairs that nobody can sit in. This one.
Perfect.
Yeah, that Pottery Barn or Crate and Barrel or
Right.
something ridiculous
Something.
when
Right.
I was young and footloose and fancy. Now he doesn't want it.
No, now he doesn't.
He doesn't
Isn't
want it.
that how it always goes?
He probably wants me to feed him, but he's going to have to wait.
He's going to have to wait. Well, we have a great show
Yeah.
planned today. Janice and I are going to drop some knowledge for sure on you. And I'm also going to talk, we're going to talk about jump rings and we're going to talk about clasps. I have a bunch of our favorites sitting here in front of me. I think what we'll do, JP, is we're going to start talking about the jump rings and then then we'll talk about clasps. I need
Okay.
to add my camera. Hang on, my other camera here.
I'm going to
Um,
have to put Sammy outside.
oh, well,
I'm sorry, Sammy.
sorry, Sammy.
Sorry, Sammy, but you have to go.
Let me make
Okay.
sure. There we go. While you're putting Sammy outside, I'm putting my camera up. Sorry, you can see my messy desk. There we go. Poor Sammy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll hear him cry. I hope you don't, but
Hmm.
He gets so much love, everybody. It's really, he's not in any, no animals were harmed
Right.
making of this video.
And I wanted to tell people I'm not drinking hairspray. This is my new Aquanet water bottle.
Oh,
You remember? You remember this?
yes, I do.
Yeah. So it's a water
Whatever,
bottle.
whatever, it's Miranda's, right? Because it's purple.
Mm-mm. It's mine.
Oh, okay.
This was the salon size. The extra super hold was the purple one. That's what I used to make my hair go big back in
Crazy.
1984 or whatever. Anyway, I thought it was funny. But I realized that people might think I'm drinking hairspray, which I'm not. But yes, everybody's loving the Aquanet. You guys remember, you remember before the dance, how we had to all spray the Aquanet. So Janice, here's some clasps. Let's take a look at these clasps here
Okay.
and see what we've got. I've got clasps and I've got jump rings. I made sure to get all of our lobster claws because we have a lobster claw for every instance. There's even one that I don't have here. I don't have
And more
the
some.
jumbo swivel. Yeah, and more some. It's the jumbo swivel. Oh, it's over there. I'm going to grab it. The one that I used for Wednesday's show to make my purse charm, that jumbo swivel. And as Janice, as I was going through all of our vintage Swarovski, there's the jumbo swivel. I found one more color that I'm going to put up. I found smoked topaz. Isn't that pretty?
Oh gosh, yes.
I found 3 boxes, so I'll add it.
That's like my color.
Isn't that pretty? I just love them. So I found 3 boxes of them. So I'll put them up on the site. Miranda, actually, we were looking at all of our crystals and stuff yesterday, and she goes, "Hey, these weren't up." And I'm like, "Hey, you're right." So I'll add those. I also wanted to mention tomorrow is the big unboxing, right?
Yes.
For Saffron and Silk. So tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, all of the products and everything, the extras, we've got some extra boxes, extras for my project that's in here. All of it will drop at 9 a.m. Pacific on the website. We will go live. Nile and I and Danielle, first and foremost, will go live tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. So we've just moved it down one day because Nile had another commitment, and we couldn't do it without our team member Nile for that. So thank you, JP, for doing that. 9 a.m. Pacific for product drop, and the live broadcast is at 10 a.m. Pacific. Right. So it gave you and I some time to do a fun little broadcast today. Yeah. So here are some of the clasps, but I'm going to sweep these kind of to the side for the moment. And let's talk jump rings. So you had a little bit of jump ring history that you wanted to share, right? As I lay these out.
Well, I am definitely not the jump ring maven, the chainmail expert at all. When I've ever taken chainmail, I've always allowed the instructor to finish mine for me. But we're talking like the jump ring when metals first came out. I guess it was maybe the Bronze Age or I don't think it was the Iron Age. But when the Vikings, they made jump rings for their armor. They found that they could link jump rings together and they would be flexible. I mean, you all know this. And it would repel arrows and other things. And then when other metals came in and they were able to do shields and full armor for the knights, then they went, it became an important component in jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
which was like in terms of manufacturing. And so then that came about. But the jump ring is as old as not the Stone Age, obviously, but the
No,
jump
but
ring has
it's,
been
yeah,
around, really for centuries.
yeah,
And it really hasn't changed.
no,
It's still the jump ring, so um, I think that's so amazing that we
yeah, I
can't,
think it's really cool.
we're always improving on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's got to be better than the way it used to be. And there literally is nothing better than the jump ring.
Yeah,
So,
no, I agree. Jump rings, I think, are and jump rings and clasps really go hand in hand for sure. And we carry, this isn't even all of the jump rings that we carry here at beadshop.com, but I wanted to um, just get some of the workhorses, the favorites out, and I think not to forget, jump rings and clasps are our item of the week this week, so they are marked down 10%, and you can stack it with our August 10 coupon to really bulk up your stash. And so when I say bulk up your stash, I mean, get some jump
yeah,
rings and put them away so you always have the right size. Because it is such a bummer when you're working and you want to put something together and you don't have the right jump ring, right,
yeah.
JP?
It's really true. I mean, I think I think you find your go-to jump rings, the things that you use the most of, but that's often because you make similar kinds of jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
and so you'll reach for a similar jump ring. But if you're doing something different, um, and Cindy is saying she can never have enough of those fancy jump rings.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, those are really not only functional, but they're also very decorative. So,
Yeah, really pretty.
but yeah, so the jump ring is like from the beginning of um, when jewelry started getting manufactured. When they had the first tool and die machines,
Mm-hmm.
they I know we were thinking about showing them how a jump ring is made, but I can certainly, just basically, or do you want to tell um, uh, Kate
Sure,
you? Oh, there
JP.
you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I can do that. I'm having Miranda grab something for me. Yeah, let me show you a little bit we, how I would make a jump ring, etc. I want to show you though a couple of things for storage. And I just pulled this from underneath the desk here. This is one of the ways that I store my jump rings. Miranda actually did this for me. So I have the gold, the satin gold, antique brass, and it's not fancy. This is just one of those floss boxes. And you can see they're they're still in the baggies and stuff, but it allows me to find everything, and I've marked them with the sizes and stuff like that. So it really allows me to find everything. I've got one then for copper, and then I've got one for the silver and the antique silver. Also, another really good storage solution for your jump rings are these little storage and bigger than little storage. We love these. And so you can put in like the jump rings that you use a lot of, maybe, or you could put like a certain size of a jump ring. You could put in some crimp tubes, if you're traveling and want everything together. So these are super handy little little containers for your jump rings. I love them, love them, love them. So
Wait,
that's how
I want to
uh huh.
show you what I use.
Oh, sure.
So
Hang on.
um, I use
Oh,
these.
yeah, our slider one.
Am I showing both?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have them labeled anymore. I could write with a marker pen on the outside, you know, what's in it.
Hmm.
Um, what's this thing? Oh, actually, I did have one of them labeled. I took it off a bag. But I really like this. Um, I really like this for my jump rings.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a nice one, and that's one that we carry as well, GP.
yeah, I linked it, but
Oh, good.
I'm also not, um, I'm not really, you know, I do projects and I have to call out what jump ring I use, but
Hmm.
I pretty much know now what the jump rings are. Um, don't ask me to read it off without looking at the pictures online. But
Right,
yeah,
right.
so
But you just know. I mean, like you say, we always gravitate towards the rings that we really like using.
right,
So we've got standards that we really like
right, right.
for sure.
So so yeah, so you were going to show us
Yeah,
how,
let me show
yeah.
you. And then we're also going to talk to you a little bit. We've got some, hang on, let me zoom in here a little bit. I don't know if you folks have looked lately at our metalsmithing tools area
Oh yeah,
on
this is very cool.
Bead Shop. But in partnership with our buddies over at Pepe Tools, we have been able to, it's like a dream come true for me. We have been able to add a ton of metalsmithing tools that we could never just carry here, right? Number one, it would just be too expensive for us to stock them, et cetera, et cetera. So if you go to metalsmithing tools, you'll see a lot of new tools that are over there, including, I put at the very, very top, the Pepe Tools Jump Ring Winder. And if you're serious about making jump rings, and I have one in my studio, I'll do a video on it for you folks one day about how I wind, how I do all of that. We're going to be adding more. There's a torch that I need to add in there. But David over at Pepe, he does such a great job. Their customer service is amazing. Their vendor support is amazing. It's really great. So you can see some of my choices that are there, including at the rolling mill, the exact rolling mill I have in my metal studio. But just to let you folks know, all of those drop ship from Pepe Tools. They don't come from us. But you get the same customer service. It all goes through Bead Shop. So if you have any questions, you can email us at info. Or you can hit David up at Pepe Tools. But yeah, it's really great. So we're really happy to be in this partnership, and we get a commission for all of those tools that we sell. So we really appreciate that support, and I love being able to carry them because there are
Yeah.
tools there. There's a variety of like soldering boards, all the solder picks, all of it. It's all there. So we'll be rounding that out for you. But
Could
I
I
wanted
just
to,
add, Kate, I just
sure.
want to
Uh-huh.
add uh, so that our viewers will sort of understand. We
Mm-hmm.
have a pot for how much we can spend on beads and tools
Yeah.
and chain and all of the supplies that we sell. And as you know, if you've bought tools, you know how expensive they are. And when we buy tools directly, we have to shell out a lot of our inventory budget for tools.
Mm-hmm.
Working with Pepe tools means that we don't have to shell out any money. We can put more of our money into the things that we really love, I know Kate loves tools, but the things that I love, which are beads, um, which I love buying. And then everyone is happier. We have more inventory in stock. We make something on the tools without having to put all that money from our bead budget into tools. So we hope you'll understand and we hope you'll support us.
Yeah, no, we are very, and people were asking about the cutters I like to use for jump rings. I'm going to link a couple here. We'll do some cutting. I'm going to add these into the chat. I'm going to do some cutting with a saw and things like that eventually, but I'm going to show you today how I'm cutting these with a plier. So bear with me here just a second. And you can find this if you go under shop, everything is in alphabetical order. You go down to metalsmithing tools. It's between leather and mix archive. It's not in tools and supplies, but metalsmithing tools are particularly there. I'm also going to link this Xuron Maxi Shear wire cutter, which is also a big favorite for cutting jump rings, and that's what I'm going to use today. Okay, so I've got some wire here. I've got a couple of different gauges. I'm going to let me put this up. There we go. So a jump ring is just that. It's a ring that has a jump or an opening in it. And like Janice says, we use them in a ton of different things. So I've got this little mandrel here. Let me just show you real quick that Pepe. I put a photo of it. That Pepe jump ring winder. Can you see it? Kind of looks like a drill bit head, a drill head with a handle on it, and all of those little different rods. Those are sized for different diameters of jump rings. It also has that saw and the little holder. And when you could graduate yourself to using that with your Fordham flex shaft. But the winding portion of it is also super helpful. I use that all the time. So this is just 20 gauge wire here. I have way too much right here. So if you need a skinnier jump ring, or a smaller diameter jump ring is what I mean to say. So the thinner the wire that your jump ring is made out of, right, the smaller your jump ring needs to be, because a smaller diameter jump ring, if you make, like, this is 20 gauge wire that I'm using here. Let's say, and I'm going to measure this after I do this little winding. So can you see how I've wound? Does this look a little blurry to you? Okay. Okay. It's all right. Okay. Get a little tighter. There we go. As I'm winding this is the 20 gauge, and I'll measure it for you when I take them off. But let's pull this off like this. And I'm going to just cut one, and then I'm going to show you or tell you how I do it. So I'm going to come in with the flush side of my cutter here. I'll clip that off. Actually, it needs to be towards the jump ring. So let me flip this over. And see how I'm cutting with the flush side of my cutter towards the coil of the jump ring, like that. Then I'm going to flip it so the flush side is towards the coil again over here. And I'm just going to use the tip of that cutter to cut that ring away. So see what I have here? I have a nice round jump ring that has a nice flush cut. And I'm going to close it for you. So here's the ring. Now I'm going to use a bent chain nose and a regular chain nose plier. And I'm going to move it back and forth so that the ends of the jump ring meet like this. And I want to make sure that it's flush, not only on the sides here, but also on the top. And I need to get this. Sorry, I pulled it out of view. It's not quite in my line of view. I want to get this perfectly closed for you. Bear with me here for just a second. I think that looks good. So see here, you've got this nice round jump ring and it's nice and closed. So let me measure this. And this is 20 gauge. So it's a thinner gauge, but it's not too big, not too small. And I just used a little mandrel that I had kind of sitting here on my desk. You can use knitting needles.
When you say thinner gauge, what do you mean? I mean, we carry 18 gauge, we carry 21 gauge. Why would you call it, could you explain what you mean when you say?
Yeah. Let me show you what, sorry, I need to turn this on. I just want to measure this for you, and then we'll take a look. Okay. So this is, like I said, 20 gauge wire. The inside diameter is a little over 2 millimeters, and the outside diameter of this, if I can hold it in my hand, is a little under 4. It's 3.8. Okay. Let me get a heavier gauge wire. Okay, this is 20. I'm going to get a 16 gauge wire here. We're going to make a heavy jump ring. Okay. So if I were making a heavy jump ring around that same mandrel, and I'm not using half hard wire, I'm using dead soft wire. You can use half hard. We don't really carry half hard here at Bead Shop. You can get it, but the twisting of the wire around the mandrel usually work hardens my wire enough so that the jump ring is nice and sturdy. Sometimes if you use half hard wire, which is wire that's been work hardened so it's stiffer, so it has a little bit of a memory to it, it's a little hard to wind effectively, and it'll kind of bounce out as you're winding it. So you don't get a nice even wind on your rings, if that makes sense. And it'll make sense when you're actually working with that half hard. So this is dead soft here. So see, I've made another little coil like this. Okay. So I'm going to come in and we'll compare the same jump ring. Again, that's 20 gauge that I made. This is 16 gauge. So let me come in.
Is that the same mandrel, Kate, or
it's the same mandrel? Okay. The exact same mandrel. So I'm going to come in flush side of my cutter towards the coil, clip it away, being careful not to let that piece of wire fly. I'm going to turn the plier over, flip it over. So again, this flush side is towards the coil, so I don't have a little join, a little burr at the end, right? This flush side of the cutter makes a nice squared off flush cut, not a cut that has a little tip to it. So can you see how with the larger wire, it's the exact same mandrel, and this mandrel measures, let me re-zero this. This is a 2.4, 2.5 millimeter mandrel. So the inside diameter is 2.2 in the 20 gauge, and it should be a little bit bigger in the 16 gauge, 2.7. And it's because the wire, as it winds around, right, this takes up more room. So the interior of this one's going to be larger. The outside measurement, I'm going to guess, is 5 millimeter. Yeah. 5.5. Okay. 5.4. So almost 5.5 millimeters. So you can see it just depends on, what wire gauge you're using, what size mandrel you're using, all of that good stuff. So here's this one. I'll go ahead and close this one up. So if you need a jump ring in a pinch, it is great to be able to have a really nice flush cutter so you can come in and cut these. Okay, and so there it is. That's a nice one here, the bigger with the 16, and then there's the 20 gauge. So any questions on that one? And I'll put the coils here.
Would you, let me just ask you this, would you consider these jump rings as strong as the ones that are like manufactured in Rhode Island or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I make a lot of my own jump rings when I fabricate jewelry because a lot of times I need to solder these rings. So I'll make them out of sterling silver or copper or gold filled, right? So jump rings, when they're manufactured, are basically made the same way. They're coiled around a center mandrel. And then they're more precision cut with some kind of an electric saw or something like that down the one side of the coil, but they're made in the same way. When you do a flush cutter, when you use a flush cutter, you want to make sure that you're using the flush side of the cutter towards the jump ring. And I'll show you this on this piece of wire right here. If I cut this piece of wire away, right, if I cut it in half, you're going to see that side that has the flush cut is straight across. This side that came from the back of the cutter here has a little tip, a little point on it. Okay, so that's not flush. So to cut that point away, we turn our plier over and we use the flush side of the cutter to cut it. Now, that being said, we have a question in the chat. Mary asks, do I prefer to use a saw? So Mary, if I'm doing 1 or 2 rings for a project, let's say that I'm made like a pendant and I need a jump ring to solder onto it or whatever, I'll use a really good pair of flush cutters. If I'm making a whole bunch of jump rings to use, if I'm making a chain or whatever, then I will saw them and I'll use the jeweler's saw. That's what we did in at the metals retreat this year. We did a whole project on sawing rings for chain. It was a lot of fun. So, but I like using a saw. But if I only need a few, I'll just save time and cut them with a plier. So hopefully that answers your question there. So does that answer your question too, JP?
Yeah, I wanted to ask because I linked all of the wire that we carry from Parawire. If someone has like, colored wire that they want to make jump rings out of, is it any different if
no, not really.
I mean, anything? I don't know the quality, but I'm just wondering.
Yeah, like if we have, let me see, is the wire Miranda still packed from the retreat? Or is it still here? No, here it is. Here it is. Let me get some of our vintage bronze wire, Janice.
Okay.
Let me get that so you can see it. Or vintage copper. Let's see. This is 20 gauge. This is 22. Let me see if I have any 18. Just give me 1 second. If not, I'll just use 20. I've got all my wire here. No, 20 seems to be what wants to show up. So here's 20 gauge in the vintage bronze. Okay. Let me make another coil of these 20 gauge jump rings here. Okay. Here's the vintage bronze. It's fairly soft. Okay. I'm going to come in. I'll cut this. I'll get my mandrel. And see how when I'm wrapping these, I'm really holding this wire at a right angle to this mandrel. The Pepe tool set, the mandrels have a little hole in them. So when you, on the end, so when you put this mandrel in the little winder, you put the piece of wire down that hole, and then you just hold it here and rotate the handle, and you have a big coil ready to go. It's really super satisfying. You could also use wood dowels for this, but wire has a tendency to bite into the wood dowel. So you want to wrap maybe a little lighter around wood than you would around metal. Okay, so let's just wrap this. I'm going to slide this off. Now we've got our jump ring coil. So I'm going to cut a few of these and we will connect them together. So here's
use knitting needles, right?
Oh, for sure. And the knitting needles, you know, when we were doing those metal beads at the retreat, I brought my metal knitting needle collection. You know, it always seems when you stop at a yard sale, somebody has a little oatmeal box, oatmeal canister full of grandma's knitting needles for sale, you know, so you can pick them up really inexpensively. Or if you have like a creative reuse shop or whatever, but knitting needles are always, and you just need singles. You don't need a pair, right? Mm-hmm. So see, I cut all of these, and you saw how I was flipping this cutter back and forth. So see here, and see how I'm holding the cutter very, it's on the same plane, on that same horizontal plane, so that when I make that cut is nice and straight across like that. So now I'm going to flip this over. Again, that horizontal cut right there, I'm going to clip, and there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and let me cut one more here. So I've got an even number. Yeah, people are saying in the comments that they have their mom's knitting needles or grandmother's knitting needles. There we go. Okay, so now let me link these. Let me show you how to open and close this jump ring. And on this wire, since this is the vintage bronze, I can see the copper wire, though you really can't. I don't know if you can there. You can see the copper wire where the cut is made. But the good thing about this parawire is the color coding on here is so durable. So if I'm doing this as a necklace or one of my bead projects that needs a jump ring, I would have no issue using these rings at all. There we go. Look at how nice and closed that looks.
I remember when we went online and I asked you about, you know, what brand of wire we should carry. And you're a little out of frame, Kate.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. And you had said parawire,
you
know, nothing else, just parawire.
Yeah.
And
it's really held us.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all US made. It's very, I'm just having trouble seeing this. So sorry, everybody. There we go. It's US made. It's really durable, even though I'm mangling it with these pliers. It's not showing any tool marks. So I'm going to come in. It's because I'm sitting down. Hang on. Let me, as Miranda says, I'm locking in. Let me lock in here. So here we go. I guess I could have made a jump ring that was a little bit bigger, but I wanted to show you. Okay, so see how these three are all closed. Okay, now I'm going to take these that are open and we're going to come in and I'm going to open them a little bit further.
We all want your nail polish.
I know, I like this nail polish.
Geez, where do you get it? Is it
this cat eye? I got it done when I went to my glossy nails in Fresno. I love them. Glossy gang.
cat eye?
It's cat eye.
Yeah.
So see, here we go. That one's connected. So we're making, in effect, just a little single chain right here. And Terry's listing a bunch of different wires in the chat. They all are great. Softflex particularly carries a nice wire as well. We can't carry everything, so we are carrying the parawire here. But I agree, the quality of these is really good. We'll put that one on, we'll close it, and we'll just close this last one up. So essentially what I've made here is a little extender chain, a little loop and loop chain. See that there? And,
Yeah.
you know, we could dangle here's that crystal I wire wrapped. If it was the right color, I'd connect it. But, right, we could just connect this to a charm or whatever. So making your own jump rings and playing around with it is great. What's the question? Tina had a question.
Yeah, her jump rings don't close. What is your advice? She wants you to make them for her.
Oh, yeah. So you want to make sure, Tina, two things. And hey, Miranda, there's the box over there that has my sandpaper from the retreat. Will you get me? There might even be a little piece of it. Let me make a heavier gauge jump ring, Tina, so you can see this, okay? You really want to make sure, I'm going to use this 16 gauge. I'm going to wrap it with this 6-step round nose. I'm going to make a really big one here. This is the 6-step round nose that we carry, which is also good for making a small amount of jump rings. Like this. It's in that black box. So, like I said, when we cut our rings, and especially if we're cutting them using a pliers like this, a wire cutter, I want to make sure when I'm coming in to make that first cut, see how that first cut, there's a 90-degree angle here and here. See that? Oh yeah, perfect. No, that should be good. That 90-degree angle here and here, right? And then I pull it back a little bit and I clip it. Okay? So I can see that cut is straight across. Now, when I flip it to cut it, again, it's at, I'll hold it this way, a 90-degree angle. And I also want you to notice, see how the head of the tool is straight up and down and the handle is at 45 degrees. If you hold the handle straight up, your head of your tool, when you make that cut, if I placed it here this way and the handle is straight up and down, it's going to give me a cut that's sideways. Okay. So we're looking at the cut to be straight up and down. And I'm really exaggerating this, but so you can see it. And the handle is at that 45. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to clip it.
And
Okay.
your tool, when you do the second cut,
Mhm.
is pushed up against the first cut. So it's pushed up, so the top of the plier, not the cut side, but
Yeah,
the top.
so this side, so this flush side, not the side with the notch
Right.
or the V, but this is the side that always needs to be against your cut.
Right.
So if I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut another jump ring, that is the wire that was coming out the back of the plier, right? And that wire has a little burr. You can see the light flash on that little burr. So I will flip my cutter, hold it across, clip it. I'll flip my plier again because this flush side needs to be, and I kind of separate them a little bit, that flush side needs to be next to the coil of the ring, right? So I'll clip it. So there, that one's also flush. But I've got that little, now that little burr, I'll come back a little bit. I'll come here, I'll clip that little burr away, flip it, clip the next ring off. So as long as you're flipping your plier every time you're cutting, you're going to get that flush side against the ring. Okay.
And you have to use a flush cutter.
You need a flush cutter. If you're using a side cutter, the side cutter has a little divot in the center here, and that's going to give you that little smushed end of your wire, that pointy end. Okay.
Okay.
So now here's one more tip that I'm going to give you. If you really are making heavy gauge, something we did over at the retreat. And yeah, it's the cutting that causes the burr, right? The cutter, if you don't cut away that piece of wire that's coming out of the cutter, out of the back of the cutter, the end of your jump ring is going to have that little smashed end, right? So can you see here how I've hardly done anything to this jump ring, and look at how flush this is.
That's
right?
Cool. Yeah.
So if you need to, what you can do is you can get a piece. This is delving into metalsmithing now. You can get a piece of wet dry sandpaper. This might be 600 grit, maybe it's 400 grit. I don't know, whatever it is you have. You can spread open your ring a little using your pliers so that your sandpaper will fit inside. So see how the ring is on the paper. It's tight enough like this, right? And the little ends of your jump ring act like a little anvil almost. They push up against each other, but the sandpaper is in between them. So when you make a little file, and all you need are like 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever little passes, any residual burr is going to be gone. See how flush that is? See that? So that's a little extra tip if you're doing heavy gauge ones. Okay? If you're not, like I wouldn't file these 20 gauge. It would pull the jump ring out of shape. But the heavy rings like this, I file them all the time, especially if I'm going to solder them. Now, Kaylee's asking here, so I want to clarify. Am I saying that you cut straight when using a flush cutter? So what I'm unlike 45 degrees when you cut with a saw. So let's say that I'm cutting this with a saw. Let's say that this is my saw blade right here. And let's do the side view. If I'm sawing this with a saw blade, my saw blade is at a 45 degree because I'm just sawing through the top of my coil. But the saw blade itself is straight, okay? When I'm saying I'm doing this and holding this straight, I'll cut one so it's off, okay? The handle of my tool is straight, but the way that these pliers are made, the head is at a 45-degree angle. So if I come in and I cut, kind of hard to see, but the cut, instead of being straight across like this, let me draw it out.
It's an angle.
Yeah, it's an angle instead. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't have a little.
And Tina is saying that those tips answer her question.
Okay, good. So yeah, so instead of being like this, and then we can move on, but my kingdom for a pencil that works. Here we go. So instead of like this, right, that's the flush cut, it'll be, here's your end, but it'll be cut like that instead, right, because your tool comes in at an angle. Okay. All right, great. Okay, so that's clear as day. Okay, so I think now that I've taught everyone how to make your own jump rings, you'll never have to buy another jump ring again. Let's talk a little bit about the jump rings that we carry, JP.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back and...
Because they certainly have their place for sure. And this is a great reminder. Thanks, Dawn. That's why I use this flush cutter. Your flush cutters do have a maximum gauge limit. So these maxi shear, I cut actually up to 12 gauge with these, but they're great for everything we carry. So you don't want to use like a small, delicate cutter like I have here to cut a 16 gauge wire, or else you will damage the heads of your cutter. So thanks for that reminder. One of my favorite jump rings that we carry, this is that bark jump ring in 12 millimeter, or 12 gauge rather. No, it's 12 millimeter. Let me see what gauge it is. I also thought it was 12 gauge. It is almost 2 millimeters, so I would have to do the conversion on that. But it's really a nice ring, nice and heavy. So if you're dangling like a real heavy pendant.
It's 12 gauge.
Yeah, 12 gauge. Okay, 12 gauge, 12 millimeter. Yeah, good. We also we've got some oval jump rings, which we also love. This is that textured oval. This is, I think, the 3.5 millimeter oval. And then we have a bunch of round. Oh, this is the other one, the rope jump ring. Gosh, I love this one. We carry so many. Look at this one.
We went a little crazy.
We did.
We really did.
It's so nice, though. This twist jump ring is really nice. Let me show you, like, the two workhorses that I always have. Well, I have three. I have the 18 gauge 6 millimeter, which is this one. And for some reason, there's an orange seed bead in here. I'm going to take that orange seed bead out. There are
Maybe
two.
It's happy there.
Maybe that would be a bonus. You get 2 seed beads, 2 free seed beads with purchase. This is the 6 millimeter right here. And these are the 5mm right here, both 18 gauge. If I'm putting charms on a charm bracelet like this, I will use either the 5 or the 6, depending on the size of the charm. I love these are the two. I also then supplement with our 4mm. I think these are 4mm 20 gauge, 21 gauge. And this is our 3mm, which is also super handy to carry. So these are kind of like my quarterfecta of the ones I like to have. This is that other one, that Nun Design. This is the 5.5mm 18 gauge, which I also like. Maybe this is 16 gauge. I think that's what we carry in this one. That's another good one to have, like on the side. This is the 8.5. And when you need a large jump ring, you just need a large jump ring. So these are super handy. We do carry some of the oval jump rings already. We carry this 3.5mm, which is a good kind of handy size. We used to carry more, but our supplier actually stopped making them. So we carry this oval, this 9mm oval, and that 3.5mm. I love an oval jump ring for sure. Yes,
Yeah.
and I agree, Deborah. The ovals are great because the opening on an oval jump ring is on the side. So when something is hanging down from that oval jump ring, it's not going to migrate towards the opening. So they're a little
Now, Kate,
sturdier.
do you think you could make a round jump ring into an oval one?
Yeah, there are oval mandrels for sure. If a ring is soldered, I make it into an oval ring, but it's really hard. Like for instance, if I have this one here and I want to make this oval, it's kind of hard to shape it that way because this cut will just open. So if you want to make oval jump rings on your own, there are oval mandrels out there. You just have to kind of seek them out.
Okay.
But it's not really something that we carry. So let's talk about jump rings, Janice, in relation to clasps.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about our toggle clasps. And I'm going to kind of put all of these together so you can see why we would need to use a couple of these jump rings on the end of a piece.
Okay, first I'm going to link to all of our clasps, or as we say, clapses.
Yeah, and sometimes we even
say
that in the newsletter.
Yeah.
We say claps.
Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes it happens.
Yep.
Clapses happens.
I think the most important, the two most important things to remember about a jump ring and a clasp is that your jump ring is the elbow for your clasp. So your clasp is going to open and close. It moves in all kinds of different directions. And if it's going directly to your jewelry and there's a stiffness between the clasp and the beads, then what's going to keep the whole design laying properly is putting that jump ring in, which is like an elbow. This is especially true with toggle clasps, where you have a circle and you have a bar, and that bar has to turn sideways to get into like what's, you see those couple of circles there on Kate's mat, and then the bar has to turn sideways in order to get through the circle, and then turn back so that it resists the circle. If you don't have enough space between your beads and the toggle, and I'm sure this happens with many people designing jewelry, you put that toggle on and then you go to put the bar through, and the last bead that you have next to the toggle is like a little too large, and when you try to fit the bar through, the bead is too big and it won't go through. This
Right.
is
I'm going to
where,
show you that right
yeah,
here. Um, this actually does go through, but it's a pretty tight
yeah.
connection. See here. So what Janice is saying, and I just found this, so, but let's say that these were beads and not chain, but it could be chain as well. This is a little chain extender here. If I put the toggle bar on this side, okay, and let's say that I just came in, I just did it with one little ring like this, and I opened it up. I slid this on. I slid that on. I closed it. Now, let's say that this is what it needs to connect to. I'll just connect it to the other side. I love these blossom toggles. This is a newer design from the Tierra Cast line. I really like the little flowers. Can you see the little flowers on it? So pretty. Let's do that. Let me close this up. Oops. There we go. Now watch when I go to pull this through. We want to make sure, see, it's just a little tight, right? This toggle, fortunately, since this is chain, I can really push it down in there to get it through. But if this were a big fat old bead, this toggle would hit right up next to the bead and wouldn't push through. So sometimes you need to add more than one jump ring on the end.
And I think the other rule that I have about jump rings and clasps is the clasp needs to be able to wiggle around on the jump ring. If you
Mm-hmm.
find you're using a jump ring that is too small for the loop on the clasp, it's um, kind of getting stuck, or the metal is rubbing up against the metal, it's the wrong size jump ring. And no
Mm-hmm.
matter how much you wish it were the right one and you
Yeah.
pray that it will work, it's going to open. The
Yeah.
physics of it is just, it's the clasp opening and closing it is going to push against the jump ring, and it's eventually going to open.
One of the things, and we don't recommend using a toggle with chain, especially chain that's lighter. If chain is heavier and maybe it has a heavy pendant or something, um, that might work. I'm just utilizing this as a closure so you can see it. But something like this, I would actually put a lobster claw on. I rather than a toggle. I also honestly don't use toggles that often on bracelets,
Mm-hmm.
because they're just hard. They're hard to get on and they don't always stay.
Well, because you're, let's say you're trying on clothes and you
Mm-hmm.
pull the blouse over your head, and the bar on the toggle rubs up against the blouse and it turns sideways,
Mm-hmm.
and that can force the toggle to come undone. I am always surprised at these really expensive, let's say Tiffany bracelets that have, I mean, they do have heavy chain, but that they have a toggle. Um, Oftentimes, it really kind of surprises me.
Yeah.
Um,
And you can see here how when I've added that extra jump ring, and I did a double jump ring
yeah,
here, JP, because I know you like using a double ring a
love
lot.
double. I love the
But
look.
yeah, and but see how that smaller ring, that 5 millimeter ring, attaching to two 6 millimeter rings, see how that little ring just slots in there and makes it a nice, makes this toggle sit there really nicely. So
Hmm.
instead of having this ring right up next to the closure, it has a little place to rest. And like you say, it has some movement here.
Yeah,
So I like this closure, and you can see that side view there for that. So I think
yeah.
that really works.
And,
There was a oh, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say this little jump ring, which started out, for Viking knit, chainmail,
Yeah.
for those Vikings in the Odyssey. If that's, were those Vikings? I don't even,
No, they were Greeks,
no,
but
they were Greek.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
all Greek to us.
yeah. Um, but again, it's just the great little workhorse
Yeah, it
of the
really
jewelry
is.
business. Um,
Let's talk about, I want to lay out all of the lobsters because someone
okay.
asked about my charm bracelet, the bracelet I'm wearing. I'm going to take that off. This bracelet, in fact, my friends, is coming to a bead shop near you. You'll be seeing this as a kit coming. Um, I'll explain why I'm doing a seaside charm bracelet when we launch it, but it has something to do with my upcoming birthday date. But you can see this has a nice little lobster claw and extender chain to it. And I love the lobster claw extender chain um, combo, right?
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I know that you do too,
Love it.
Janice. The
Love it.
and so we did go a little overboard when we decided to bring, we're always adding, we've never met a lobster claw clasp we don't like, I think is the thing. So let me lay these down here. Here's the jumbo swivel. They're like the three bears, but instead it's like the seven lobster claws. So there they all are. Okay. So what we've got here, we have some swivels. This is the small swivel. This is the regular swivel. And what I love about a swivel clasp is that your clasp is always oriented in the correct position because it swivels. This is also the jumbo swivel. This one also swivels around, which I love. Now, these are our lobster claws that have the stationary loop that you'll need to add jump rings to. So this is the jumbo lobster, the medium lobster. This is just the right size. Is that right? Just the right size lobster, and the little lobster. So we've got them in a variety of shapes and sizes. And, using a lobster with an extender chain, you just need to decide what the right lobster claw is that fits into the loop.
I love having all of them on hand.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's important to make sure, like when we get them in, the most important thing, I think, especially as I get older, is that I can push on that
Mm-hmm.
lobster and it's easy to open. That I'm not fumbling. It's, um, we want ease. The whole thing is you want ease of use.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, and security. Those are the two things you want in a clasp,
And this
besides
size,
beauty.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this size that we added, um, this is one of our newer ones. I want to make
Mhm.
sure I'm calling it the correct thing. I'm going to, um, yeah, this is the jumbo. And then this one is, this is, this is the medium that I'm holding in my hand.
I'm going to link to that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah, it is.
Um, besides getting out your millimeter gauge.
Yeah.
Um, so here's the link.
But again, grabbing these and having them in your stash, I mean, there are difference in sizes for sure. And sometimes you need one that's just a little bigger, or you're like, oh, no, that one is just just a hair too small. I need to move to the other lobster size.
I like the swivels.
I
Uh,
love a swivel.
yeah, and I like the size of the ring on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with some of the others, the hole is small and you really do need to use a small jump ring with it, which is okay. They still don't open with the jump ring,
Mm-mm.
but I will add another jump ring to like that really smallest of lobsters.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And it does, so the color, yeah, the antique, here's the color. The antique, I'm using the antique silver rings. They go really nicely with that blossom. It looks good. So I think that finish. I really like this one. This is that thick jump ring. I think that's the 5.5. Let me see. Um,
is it the 4.5?
Let me look. Jump rings.
And then we call it the 5?
No, this is the one from Nunn. This is Becky Nunn's super heavy one that I use with a lot of her clasps. I just want to tell you what it is. Bear with me here just a second. Gosh, we've got so many jump rings. I love it.
Yeah, we do.
I'm going to look at it on the back end. Hang on.
It's not our 5.5.
Yeah, I think it is. It's the 5.5, 16 gauge. I wanted to get the wire gauge correct. 5.5 millimeter, 16 gauge. And let me attach it to this jumbo and to the medium. Because since it is a 16 gauge wire, it's a little bit bigger. But see how nicely that jump ring matches
Yeah.
this jumbo lobster size. Let me show you this medium lobster too. And it fits just perfectly on that loop. It's a really good size for it, especially if whatever you're making is a little bit heavier. But she's a good jump ring. 5.5, 16 gauge. This is the 6 millimeter 18 gauge, and you can see it's a little bit thinner and a little bit bigger, but also another good choice, another good workhorse.
She makes everything Becky makes
Mm-hmm.
is.
Oh, and for the ring for the blossom, that's what you were asking. Let's take a look at this. This one's a little small. I think it's the jumbo lobster, because this blossom ring is kind of wide. So that's what I would connect to it. Let's see if the swivel works. But you could also, let me tell you, connect your piece. Like if you wanted to use this blossom ring as a component, okay, you could use, where's my 8.5? Here's the 8.5 millimeter, I think. I could use one of these big ones, and I could attach this to my necklace, okay? Or I could use this as a multiple strand. Maybe I have a strand connected to each of those rings, right? Then on this side, I could even use that same one. Maybe I would use one of these 6 millimeters, put it on this end, and then I graduate up to the bigger ring. So that all of this is in the correct, facing the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
You could even, since this is smaller, you wouldn't have to use that big ring. Let me attach one of the smaller rings. Even this swivel. The swivel is nice because it would swivel with that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are a lot of ways that you can kind of play around with it. I also brought the chatelaine clasp out, which is one of our favorites. This will be the last one, I guess, we look at, though we could look at these all day long. I have this on my necklace. Hang on. You can use them like we did to hang charms off of, but on this chain and leather necklace that I made, I connected it and used it as the clasp.
Yeah, I mean it is basically a clasp.
Mm-hmm.
And it connects.
Like that watch fob clasp.
Yeah.
We would use it, we've done it on these chains. This is my own personal one on this. See, this is just a double ring chain. You could make this chain with the jump rings. And when you look at these jump rings, they're not completely round. See that there? That jump ring is not completely round. But this, you could add your charm to it, or you could just use it as your clasp right here. It just looks really nice, I think.
So could we go back to the blossom for just a second?
Sure.
You put the jump ring on the blossom side. That's where I would use 2 rings.
Yeah,
on the
definitely.
blossom side. Especially if I was using something like the other side.
This side, right. Okay,
Yes,
gotcha.
because on that side, if I were, for instance, using soft flex to string on, the jump ring can open microscopically over time enough for a thin wire to pass through it.
Right, we'll pull
I
out.
would either use double rings or I would add to the first ring a soldered ring and then
Mm-hmm.
do my necklace. I just,
Right, right. So connect a and we do carry the soldered rings in two
yeah,
different sizes.
yeah,
So you'd connect, I might even do two here and put one soldered ring, put
yeah,
those two through the single
yeah,
soldered ring. It would look nice.
yes. So that's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So
Those are great thoughts, JP.
thank you.
I also grabbed, so we don't forget about this little hammered hook and eye. Of course, your favorite, a book of Kells. This is
Oh,
perfect
yes.
for the 10 millimeter and 5 millimeter flat leather. This ancient motif clasp, which I
Love that.
love.
Oh,
We carry it in the gold and the silver. What I love about these, they're so strong. What I love about these magnetic clasps is it has this little nub in it so it catches, so it doesn't pull apart, right? So this is just a gorgeous one. I love it. And then of course our different carabiner and push clasps that we also love. Christine, which connector? I've got so many, so many on here. This is the Blossom Toggle. If you are looking at this one, and the Blossom Toggle comes in a set, and it has this one, and then it has the toggle portion, and I can't see it on my board. Here's the hammered toggle. But it has its counterpart, and I was showing it earlier.
let me link it.
Yeah, that's the Blossom. And seriously, it was here a second ago. Is it still on here? No. Yeah, this is the Blossom toggle. Oh, here it is. Here's the toggle bar that comes with it. Right there. Really pretty. So, yeah, we have a whole bunch of different jump rings, different clasps, toggle clasps, lobster claws, a bunch of different stuff. But it's a good idea to just have a little variety so that when you are creating, you can kind of shop your stash and make sure that you've got what you need.
Yes. And
Um,
I'm just saying, I have nothing like these are clasps or clapses. I literally throw them all in.
right.
And then because part of what I love is hunt the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I
Same.
love picking through things. And
Mm-hmm.
I am not in a hurry. I want to just um, enjoy the process. So I will look through and then I'll find a toggle.
Yeah.
And I'll
No,
find
I
a
agree.
bar and a lobster and a multiple magnetic clasp.
All together there. Yeah, and who is it? Dawn is asking about that 20 millimeter Skyline clasp, Janice. I know we were looking
Oh,
into it. Um,
um, I Dawn, I will get back to you. I think I tried to order it. Um, I
those might
thought
not.
I emailed you, but let me look again.
Yeah.
Um,
Customer service live right here on the chat.
I thought I looked into it. I thought it was discontinued, and I was offered another option, like at 30 millimeter or something, or 40 millimeter.
We'll
But
take a look.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
because
Dawn, I'm gonna get back to you tomorrow.
it is such a nice,
It
it's a
is,
nice size, but
it is.
sometimes these clasps, they just go away and we're like, oh, well, that was a fun ride while we had it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, mark your calendars, everybody, for tomorrow.
Yes.
It'll all be in the newsletter. If you want a little sneak peek of when all of the dates for the saffron and silk tutorials that Danielle is doing, and I'm doing my bonus project. I can't help it. I just had to show you. If you go under the Danielle Wicks, if you go to the homepage and you go to shop and you scroll down to Danielle Wicks box and components, on the top row it says Saffron and Silk Project Box Tutorials. All of the dates are there. I'm putting it in the chat. All of the dates are there for each broadcast, and each broadcast has already been created over on our YouTube channel. So you can jump over there, set yourself reminders, including the one that I'm doing for my bonus project. You can set yourself reminders through the YouTube channel so you don't forget. And right now, the photos that are on our website are not project photos yet. I'm going to replace those tomorrow so we don't ruin the surprise. If you don't want to ruin the surprise at all, don't click through, because it does have some things listed. But all of the dates are on that tutorial page, so you can see that. Or you can just click right over to our YouTube channel at beadshop.com and set yourself reminders. But tomorrow, all the projects will be revealed, all of the components in the project boxes, and it'll be at 10:30 a.m. Pacific, our regular broadcasting time tomorrow on Saturday, as well as all of the extras will be dropping at 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to put this necklace on. But we're going to have a good time tomorrow with Danielle and Nile. And Janice will be on the chat doing moderating. Yeah. So I think that's it, JP. I think we covered it all. We covered a lot on this broadcast.
I just sat here and watched the genius at work.
Oh, I don't know about that, but
well,
we got a lot. We got a lot covered. It was really fun. Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. But yeah, so now I'm going to put all this stuff away before Miranda, before I get in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't take it out of stock.
No, it's got to all go back. Yeah. But we really appreciate you folks. Thank you so much, as always, for your support. And I'm excited about tomorrow. Yeah. Check your newsletter. All the links will be in there. And we'll have unboxing day. Talk to you soon, everybody. Thanks all.